Morning, Bill here with the Metals Minute. Today is April 1st, 2022, the April Fool's edition. Well, normally on April 1st, we're taught to take what we hear with a grain of salt because it may not be, the entire truth. Well, what I want to propose to you today is to use that same skeptical ear when you hear news the other 364 days out of the year, because it seems like we're living in another world these days with the type of information that we're fed on a routine basis by the mainstream media and sometimes from our own officials. And I'm not trying to point fingers or anything, but we have to call it like it is sometimes. And, just a couple of weeks ago, the American president was telling all of us that all of the hard-nosed sanctions that we've imposed on Russia and how we're crippling their economy, and in fact, one term was used, the ruble has become rubble. Well, since that speech was made just a few weeks ago, the ruble has doubled in value against the American dollar. So that was an entirely wrong report. And, we could talk about any number of subjects and how what we've been told is not true. But we'll try to confine ourselves to economics and precious metals on this broadcast. But there's a report that comes out today by a respected precious metals analyst, lives in London, Alistair MacLeod. And he has given his best estimations of Russia's actual gold. We believe they have, 2,200, 2,500 tons of official gold. He has good reasons to believe it's closer to 12 or 13,000 tons. And China, he believes, is in a similar situation. There's the official gold reserves that, are quoted just a few thousand tons. But he believes that they have closer to 20,000 tons. And the West's gold, including the United States, is at suspect, whether it's all still there or not. And it's, by his estimation, with all the leasing arrangements and rehypothecation agreements, that it's more likely that we have less rather than the 8,300 tons that we claim. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's not the first time that I've heard about the other nations having more gold reserves than what are in the official numbers. So, having said that, the reason that's important is the world is moving towards a more gold-centric resource base, reserve base, and trading assets. It's moving more towards gold and less towards the dollar. Now we've all heard about the sanctions and Europeans and the Russian gas and all this. And the truth is, Russia just made deals with nations for energy that have 84% more population than the nations that are sanctioning Russia. So we have sanctioned the front door, but not the back door of Russian transactions. So when President Putin had made the announcement that they're only going to sell energy to unfriendly or sanctioning nations in gold or rubles, and they have to go to the Russian central bank and purchase rubles, they can trade dollars or euros or whatever to buy the rubles, And even though they're sanctioning the front door, that he can't go out to those Western nations and use those rubles or dollars, he can go to the back door. And there's 84% of the world's population he still can trade with. Now, unless we're going to sanction the entire world, that they can't use dollars or euros, it's becoming entirely ineffective, the sanctions. And the ones that seems to be hurting more is us. We're paying high prices for energy here. Europe is paying even higher prices. You know, we're paying $5 for a gallon. They're paying $8 to $10 over there. Meanwhile, in Russia, they're paying just under $2 a gallon, even today, after all the sanctions. And so, what's the point? Well, you or I may not be able to change world politics or change, domestic or international economic policies. But what we can do is protect ourselves by owning precious metals. The same reason why Russia they're not able to corral them and they're not able to shut down their economy is because they have natural resources. You and I can protect ourselves by owning natural resources as well. By owning a form of currency that's universal, worldwide, regardless of who sanctions who, everyone recognizes gold and silver as the ultimate and oldest form of currency. By owning some of that, we protect ourselves against the raging inflation that we see building and the looming recession that's coming. So hang in there. It gets better from here. I looked this morning, our update on Wednesday, gold was higher. It's higher again today. Silver was flat at the time that I checked, but I believe ultimately it's going way higher. There's an article a couple weeks ago that highlights all those reasons why. I encourage you to check that out. Maybe I'll link to it in this short article. Thanks a lot. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.